Hi.
I,
So, what do you want to say today?
um, one of the things that uh, I find amusing is one of my learnings from you,
Right.
which I had difficulty learning, um, but now it just seems so obvious. What I'm talking about is one of the things that really helped me is when you talk about the stories that I tell myself and about how I believe them and how I can make them fit with what I want to think. So, I'm talking about all throughout my life, and I've given examples about how I can deny the obvious because, like, I can think bad things about myself or negative all the time. But if somebody says something nice about me, I'll push that to one side or say it's a fluke or they're just being nice. I would, because it don't fit in my story. My story is that I'm not a nice person and that I'm stupid and I'm thick. So if I did well in an exam at school, I'd sort of like dismiss it, push it to one side. It don't fit. It's a fluke. They just marked it differently. They've been because it didn't fit my story that I wanted to tell myself. And when I look back all my life, all the stories that I've told myself, and I've really believed and denied the obvious because it didn't fit in with my story. And understanding that, it were a bit horrible to take.
Why was it horrible?
Because it was, again, I felt as if it was like a criticism on me. I felt as if it was like, and I used it as, oh yeah, so it is me, there's something wrong with it, is me, rather than it might be a natural, normal thing to find, to make you feel comfortable, to disregard stuff that don't fit in with your story and only look for things that do. But I took it at first as a criticism. Oh, I've caused my own misery. I'm at fault, and I'm unhappy for my own reasons, and I found that difficult to take. I still catch myself doing it all the time. I still have to correct myself, but one thing that did make me laugh is how attached I am to it. These stories that I tell myself, even though they've got big holes in. And when you were saying that to me, I couldn't help but think about something that I carry around with me all the time, as I do carry around my stories.
Yes.
And I brought it to show you because I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
In my bag, I always have to have a big bag with me, carrying everything for every eventuality: umbrellas, waterproof legs, this, that, and other. But one of the things I always carry around,
Waterproof legs.
yeah, waterproof trousers in case it rains.
You have a
Yeah,
spare pair of legs.
yeah, I've got to carry everything for every eventuality. But one of the things that I carry around with me is a bag in case I buy something and I need to put it in a bag.
Okay.
I panic, I'm not going to have a bag. Just like I panic, I'm not going to have access to water or Pepsi Max. I have to carry loads round with me. So I carry this bag round with me. But the thing is I'm attached to this bag for some reason. But it's a reflection of the stories that I tell myself. Because it's got so many holes in, and it's years old. But I still carry it round with me like I'm attached to it. It's like no other bag feels right.
So is the bag then a metaphor? A physical
Yeah,
metaphor for
because
the
it's
holes in your.
disgusting. It's well worn. It's falling apart. It's been in the washer about 1,000,000 times, but it's frayed. It's falling apart, and it's got
Lots of holes in it.
dirty, great big holes in it,
Okay.
numerous. But I still use it, and I
Right.
still carry it round with me, even though I've bought other bags which haven't got holes in.
You're
I
still
still,
attached to
I still
that.
attached to that. Like I'm still attached to my stories, and I still believe my stories about myself. And sometimes you need to update me when you'll question me and go, "You still think that way?" And I'll have to think, "Do I? Oh no, I don't. But I thought I did."
What
But
would it be like to let? Sorry, what would it be like to let go of the bag and put it in the bin?
oh no, I might need it.
there. So when you, majority of people have stories anyway, but when you're a child, the child to be able to survive, as we call it, a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. So imagine you have to go for a week to live in an asylum, as they used to have, um, and you have to manage the people in the asylum, and there's no one going to help you. You have to manage them alone. So when you're managing the alone, you're going to have to dodge the bullets from them. So because you're dodging the bullets and they might say things, they might shout at you, they might hit you, you're going to have to work your way within that to try and survive them. And so, the natural death instinct for a child is that it can't survive because the only thing the child has to rely on is the parent. So, as I say, in the 60s and even before that, the insane don't know they're insane. Then the child, as Freud said, is the child running around in an adult's body. Therefore, the child is the adult running around in a child's body. So the child has to then manage the insane adult, as that theory goes, to be able to survive. The only way that you'd be able to survive, you won't be able to say, well, there's a problem with my environment. Do you see what I mean? Because how would you survive that? As a child, you need your environment, you need the people there to take care of you. So you blame yourself.
Mm,
It's me, I'm defective. And then, and that's what they'll tell you anyway. Not saying parents will, but ultimately they do inadvertently,
mm,
because what happens is that you're taught from birth, and this is why they spoke about the insanity. Um, Years ago, and I know that I mentioned this a bit about slaves because we are them, in terms of within our minds. So years ago, like people like to watch dog fights, they would have slave fights,
mm,
and they would fight to the death, and that's what they would do because people would just cattle. And so to pretend that we're evolved, which it doesn't really exist,
mm,
or that we're civilized, now our minds have been enslaved. And so if you think, how do they get enslaved then? What happens then is you're always told you're defective. So if you look at the vibrations of words, the low vibrations of words of Hawkins, levels of consciousness, is that we're in hell level. Why are we in hell level? Because we say low vibration words to each other all the time, and because that's what we've been taught. So when you say good morning to somebody, it's like, you have a good day morning as well, like morning of death, because it's the same vibration.
mm,
When you say have a good week, you're calling somebody weak. So have a good week and have a good week end. You see what I mean? So some of
mm,
these ways, you understand, stand under me. And, the other one is beat.
mm,
So that's what they did within slaves. They beat each other, and, they beat each other to death
mm,
because that's what you're asking the animal to do. And, so then you become in competition, and then adults treat children, I need to beat you, I'm the best, I'm going to beat you. And we just use these words all the time, similar to beating someone up. It's just the same vibration because it's the same word, but we interpret as meaning something else. It doesn't. It's the same vibration, it's the same word. So although it might have a different spelling, it doesn't mean you'd say it differently. Do you
mm,
see what I mean? The vibration is the same. So then what's going to happen then, when you go to school and they say, oh, you need to learn to be social and you need to learn all these skills, you're going to learn how to be in competition with everybody else, with
mm,
yourself and everybody else. You want to beat them. So the teacher's going to say you're not good enough, so you're going to be against yourself. You're not going to be good enough or feel good enough against the class, especially the ones that might get a higher score than you.
mm,
You're in a race, you need to be good enough. If you attend, you're good enough, you're going to get a prize to be good enough, you're going to get a prize to beat the others. So this constant beating that you've been taught,
mm,
and not good enough that you're already taught, it's like, why on earth would one human and adult humans teach that to children?
mm,
Why would they do that? because they're not awake to what they're doing. So they continue to do what they do, and then within that, and if you notice how society is, it's quite fake and fickle. So when the external world is people's thoughts, and so when you look at them, you can see how the FDA is one company, so it's like one chemical factory. So here we can poison you, and here we'll medicate you with chemicals. Does that make sense to
Mm.
you? It doesn't make sense,
Mm.
does it? So that scares me. But people we're taught to look up to, as I said before, labels as if they're gods.
Mm.
So we're taught to look up to these people from childhood. So we're taught these, or for instance, there are certain things that we believe, but the truth is right in front of us, but we just don't see it, and that's what's called being asleep, because you don't see the truth that's right in front of you.
So a bit
So
like not seeing the holes in my story is a bit
not seeing, yeah,
being asleep.
that's it. You're asleep because, and you're asleep in fear.
Mm.
So you don't let go of that because you fear what's going to happen. So it's like you, and that's what society does. It's carrying around the danger, thinking it's going to keep you safe.
Mm.
So the FDA is like, that to me is the danger that at one point thought, we're going to keep it safe. It's like, no, they're both joined together, the food and drug industry,
Mm.
and they're selling chemicals. Now, if you were to put bits of poison in somebody's food, that's illegal. But yet, for another reason, it's not, and it's blatantly in our face.
Mm.
It's not illegal, but we can feed you these chemicals, and you will eat them. Yeah, why will you eat them? Because you're asleep.
Mm.
Because you were trained as a child, your brain's in the child's brain's in a theta state. So people, oh, they know they're spoiled, or they know, no, they don't. They don't know that because you're brainwashing them. Because the brain's in a theta state, it's in a daydream state. They won't remember, of course they will. Remember everything because the brain records from the last trimester of your birth. So when you're in the theta state, it's a daydream state where information goes in and you barely put information out. Then eventually the only information you put out is the information that's been recorded on your brain. And that's what you recorded. So you recorded not good enough and all these
Mm.
stories that you're defective, because everybody's constantly telling you how
Yeah.
defective you are. You're not good enough. You're lazy. You're getting on my nerves. You're
Mm.
doing all this. You're doing all this. So we have children to get rid of them.
Mm.
We can't be bothered with them. We're the only species we can't be bothered with our own young, because as soon as we get with them, we'll let a stranger take them at a very pivotal age that will cause them trauma. Now, this was known in the 80s, and yet, people talk about health and, not abusing and all of this sort of thing. It's like we're constantly doing it all the time, but we normalize it. Why? Because somebody who is another equal human being that acts as authority figure in your prison guard, in the prison that you're in, that acts as an authority figure, will tell you what abuse is, but won't admit to it to themselves
Mm.
because everybody, oh, well, they'll be illiterate. No animal's illiterate, is it? Don't go
Mm.
to school. People are millionaires when they don't go to school.
Mm.
So you're learning these skills. You got to learn to be a slave and to pit yourself against each other. Well, how are you going to do it? Because all the jobs that's offered to you they're already there before you arrived. And what are the jobs doing? They're going to pit you against each other.
Mm.
So let me give you an example. The energy company, yeah, energy is free, it's all around us. You just harness it once. Yeah, so if you've got a harness of energy, you know where it's coming from, yeah? It's coming from the universe, it's free. Yeah. So you're harnessing this energy. Once you plug it in and you know how to harness the energy, once it's invented, then that's it, it's constantly flowing. You don't have to do it again. Then why does the price go up? The price goes up to hurt you, because whatever you've got, we're going to take it all off. You have to work hard, and then we're going to take all your money off you. And do you see what I mean? So, but we're not going to do it. Now we've hijacked everybody's brain at school. We taught everybody to pit themselves against each other. So then people will. So that's why we're going to these jobs that will harm another person.
Mm.
So then they tell you about how bad it is, how cold it is, people aren't surviving, but we're still going to put the price up
Mm.
and expect somebody else to be respond, or and then they're advertising that when you get older you die of the cold and all these things. It's constant a death sentence.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Mm.
So that's what's going on. And then when you see that and you see So what I did, I challenged the energy company, somebody that worked there, and said, "You're pitted against other human beings." So, and they said, "What you have to do is," and it's like that's exactly must should have to got to, because you work for a slave master that's telling you a story that Ofcom, the regulator, will cap the price in fairness and then raise the price in fairness. It's just made up.
Mm.
In fairness, if you harness energy once and it comes, there should be no raising of it.
Mm.
It should be one price and that's it. But yet you don't keep coming in and putting a new pipe in. You don't keep coming and putting new lines in. So how come it goes up?
Mm.
You don't have to renew putting pipes in and lines in, which is an indication that, if you're harnessing this, this isn't costing you anymore. But you just put the price up. And so we always have a perpetrator and a saver that doesn't really save us.
Mm.
So over here, you're going to get one that's going to harm you, and you're going to elect to be harmed because that's what you've been taught. So you're harming yourself, and then another one will elect to do it. So that's how it goes. So you know, when you look at the law, you see how it's constantly broke by the law itself,
Mm.
and that's how it is. And it's like it's a good brainwash because those things are right in front of you. Like, let me give you an example. Um, this what I can't remember George. I can't remember his surname. Anyway, he does these great talks. He studied the Bible for many years, and he said, these stories that you're told. He said, imagine you walking around as Adam and Eve, and he's speaking that the Bible is actually speaking about the inside of us. Yeah, the Nile is your 33 vertebrae, and so he and how he explains it. What he says is that imagine a snake comes up to you and goes, "Oh, do you know you're naked?" Well, what would you say to the snake? So are you.
Mm.
Do you see what I mean? But yeah, Adam and Eve we believe these stories.
Mm.
It's like, why would a snake be interested whether you've got clothes on or not?
Mm.
You see what I mean? But we believe these stories. Or the other one is that, you know, a woman was made from a man's rib. Well, why aren't they giving birth then through the rib? You see what I mean? Because and everything that seems to be above becomes below. Do you see what I mean? Because it's like no one can come here without they have to come through us as females.
Mm.
They can't come here unless they come through us. So that must have been some sort of threat, because if that were the case and man, Eve came from, then like I say, why aren't they giving birth from the? Why do it's like the superior, and you say, oh, they're superior. I know that it's more equal now, but I'm superior. Or that feeling of being superior. Well, you can't be. You have to come through me
Mm.
as a female to come here first. So when you look at these stories, when you start to see, and that's what is when you start to begin to stop to walking around with your eyes wide shut and
Mm.
start to see the reality of what you're doing and what you're being taught. So, for instance, I know everybody's, football's on and things, and use that as an example that one side has to beat the other. You can't be really friends with the other side because you're pitted against each other. So, like any animals, we're throwing a ball, but whatever game we're playing, we're going to pit against each other.
Mm.
You have to win, you have to beat them.
Mm.
And it's that beating again. So we're always pitted against one another all of the time and pitted against ourselves. Even like if you went on a run, you go on the run, you can't do the run for you, so you're doing it for a charity, which I don't believe in that anyway. I think it's known as, um, and I believe what it's known as. It's known as being a hypocrite, because you're the one in the middle that's got somebody working for free, you're getting paid and for a cause. So you're getting money off the back of suffering,
Mm.
because the person's working for free, and then you're in the middle. You might have a few workers, but you're in the middle collecting the money, and then you might give a little bit to the people so they get what's left over. So that's why I don't believe in that, and then you get to pay less tax for that. So when you look behind and you say, well, and then we're constantly brainwashing, this is a good cause, this is a good cause,
Mm.
we're fighting cancer, we're always fighting something. Why are we fighting something? Why are we doing that? When clearly, from what I've seen anyway, there's cures out there. There has been for centuries, but we don't want them because then all this would stop.
mm,
And it's like, what would stop? The holes in all the stories.
yeah,
You're seeing through the holes
yeah,
in the stories as you're seeing through the holes in yours, is that the reality that you're in is somebody else's daydream that we're going along with because we're the cattle.
mm,
So the freeing then is from your story, is the freeing of the story from your mind, from your own mind.
mm,
That nobody's going to come along and save you.
mm,
It's about you freeing yourself from your own mind.
mm,
And, every day you're going to be, you're up against being brainwashed again with the fear stories and all this kind of
mm,
thing.
It's understanding, like, not only have I got these stories that I tell myself about myself and about the world, um, with big holes in, it's everybody else's as well. And I
Yes,
think
so
that's,
none of us have escaped
yeah,
from
I
that.
think
None
that's
of
a
us.
really big
Yes, no matter what label you've got,
learning thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
none of us have escaped from it. It doesn't matter who you are, what position you've got. Apart from the ones that brainwashed us with this in the first place, but none of us escaped that.
yeah. And I can sort of like understand now when sort of like people um maybe don't like something or get angry or oppose something you say or do because you might be highlighting a hole in their story
Also, it can be a fear.
unintentionally, but
Yeah,
you
it
don't
can be a
realize because you don't know what others are.
yeah, it can be a fear that you don't want to let go of. So when you say to somebody, "Do you know that's a lie?" They get very angry. It's like, like, you should be on my side. No, you should be on my side
Mm,
because my side is the truth. No, my side is the truth. But nobody wants to let go of that. Instead
mm,
of just saying, let me listen to your side. Let me see what. Well, let's just take a step back and have a look at the whole thing altogether and see
yeah,
why are we arguing over this. It doesn't make sense. Do you see what I mean? So it's that, but there's a fear. So therefore, anger comes because you don't want to let go of it.
mm,
You don't want to let go. You've invested too much in it for
yeah.
it to be true, as you have with your holy bag.
Yeah, it's like I've had these stories, like the bag, a long time. I've had the stories that I've told myself since childhood
Mm.
about not being nice and not being good and stuff like that. And it's like knowing now that I've seen it and I've masked over the holes and tried to not notice they're there or try to patch them up. It's because it's familiar and it's known because it's so ingrained and you've lived with it so long, it's really hard to stop falling into it.
And that's what keeps you into it, is the language of things are really hard
Mm,
because you've been taught this language to keep you in it. It's a very great trick in it that I find
mm,
that difficult, or it's really hard. And it's like, it's as easy as practice because that's all it is.
yeah.
Everything that we practice, when I said to you, if you say one out of one is one, you say one times one, well, that's a multiplication, and it's not one. It can't be because it doesn't multiply. But that's just how brainwashed we are, that we are brainwashed to believe things that aren't true.
Mm,
And we will constantly believe one. And you can say to somebody, it can't be one because this is a multiplication, it does not multiply, it doesn't make sense. Then what it does, it's a five. One times one is five. It can't be, it doesn't multiply. These things are added in, these lies
mm,
that we believe. But even though you might be aware that you've been lied to, you will go and believe something else straight away again.
mm,
Oh well, that person's telling me the truth. That person, if one thing is a lie, then it all must be a lie because you're finding so many lies in this story and compared to
mm,
nature. If things don't say the same, then they can't be true.
mm,
The same thing as when people thought that smoking was good for you. Oh no, we've changed our mind now. It's not true. We found there it isn't.
mm,
But it doesn't matter because we'll give you menthol ones and pretend to take care of you that we're bothered. No,
mm,
we're still going to make cigarettes. Why make them?
mm,
Why make these things? What kind of person wants to purposefully hurt another fellow human being because you're pitted against yourself and each other?
mm,
And this is a material world, and you're a battery that we can make money off.
mm,
So that's it. So it's that, when people say our creator or God's going to come and say, no, whoever created us made us like, imagine that you've built a character and you're on a stage acting this character out. That's what we're doing anyway, but imagine that you're an actress and you're on a stage acting this character out. And everybody's looking at the character, but the character can't exist without you. So even though that's a character, part of you is in that. You can't get away from that. Wherever this character goes, what it says, what it does is because of you, yeah, because part of you is in that. And that's the same for us. As we were created, whatever created us, part of that creation is in us, yeah. And so, what it did, or one theory of what happened was then we were given free will. We were given free will to choose to be good to ourselves and others, or to be bad to ourselves and others. It's our choice, but it's our learning. So if we give suffering, the law of karma says you have to feel it first. If you're angry with somebody, you have to feel it first. If you're happy with somebody, you have to feel it first. That's the law of karma. If you want to pay somebody back, you're going to pay first, and maybe pay after as well. So it's that learning the lessons of what is the purpose of being nasty to yourself. What is the purpose of calling yourself names? What is the purpose? Just because somebody taught you, because somebody taught them, and somebody taught them, and somebody taught them. Well, we're very boring then as human beings. If you say, what have you come on this planet to do? The same as everybody else. That's kind of boring, really, isn't it? Well, I'd like to make something different then. So, wouldn't you like to offer something different to the next generation to be happy, instead of teaching them misery and that they should have to got to and comply in a slavery that's not going to make them happy because it never made you happy. You just get your head down and get on with it.
Yeah.
And then you think you've made it if you've made some made up money. You think you've made it then, but you haven't, because then people are shocked out the when, for instance, a long time ago, quite a while ago, Robbie Williams or movie stars, people go, why? Because we believe that if you're rich and you're famous, do you see what I mean? You've made it, so what have they got to kill themselves over, commit suicide over? Because you were taught the lie. And so it's that, asking yourself, what have you come here to do? Is it just to repeat something that somebody told you? Not investigating, well, did it do them any good? Because, if misery spreads misery, what would you like to spread instead?
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
it does seem
do you want to keep hold of your misery?
Yeah, and that's it. I was just thinking about it. It does seem that by keeping the stories, we're keeping the misery. It's like I can sit here and go, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. But I'm keeping all those old stories about myself.
Not even about you. They're all the stories about somebody else.
They're just what somebody told me I was like, and I took them on as if that's
your
me.
Story. It's not. It's them. When everybody's a billboard for themselves. As I say crudely, so you remember, if you've got shit in a bag, that's all you're going to get out of its mouth.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Not to insult anybody, but whatever, you have holes in your bag as you have holes in your story. So it's everybody, what people are telling you. If somebody's insulting you, the insult comes out of them, therefore it had to be inside of them. It only bothers you if you believe them. If you don't believe them, if I were to say to you, oh wow, I hate your red hair, it looks ridiculous, you'd be like, I don't have a neuron connection that tells me I've got red hair, so I'm not bothered by what you're saying because it's not true. So what you do, you leave it at their door.
Yeah.
But if I were to say the correct colour of your door and say the same thing, you might think a kind of way and think, oh, I'm responsible for what you dislike then, because when I was growing up, I was responsible for getting on my parents' nerves that were taught not to be bothered with me because they were too busy in the world of busyness. And the normal thing is when you have a child, let a total stranger go and look after it, and they can, and your child will come home stressed, but it doesn't matter, they'll get over it, it's all right, it doesn't matter if they're crying, it doesn't matter, it's okay. But imagine if you went to work as an adult and you were crying before you went to work, how many people would say, don't go, don't go?
Mm.
And yet we do that to the most precious thing
Mm.
that, that we can make.
Mm. Yeah.
So how do you feel about your back?
It's it's familiar, and just because it's familiar don't mean to say that it's healthy or safe or
Yes,
comfortable.
yes.
But because it's familiar, we say it's our comfort zone.
Mm.
And actually, when we look at it, but when I look at the stories that I tell myself, it's nothing near comfortable. It's just
No.
familiar and what I'm known. And stepping out of that seems scary, but actually, from listening to what you're saying, it it should. Been told it's scary when you step out your comfort zone. But actually, from what you're saying, it's actually quite freeing and quite
And is it comfortable?
liberating, and it's
Is it
quite an acknowledgement. It's not.
is
It's a
it comfort
familiar
yeah.
zone.
Is it comfortable constantly so like you smoked, would it be comfortable constantly having to do what your ego says and go get cigarettes?
Mm.
Is that comfortable? Is it comfortable when you have that nasty voice in your head? If you drink and you have that shame going on in your head, is that comfortable? Really? Do you see what I
No,
mean?
but
Ask
we've
yourself.
labelled it as it,
We've
and we've
labelled,
bought into it.
yeah, we've labelled the abuse of ourselves and others as comfortable. But when you let it go, you give space for something new and different. So these habits that we have are just what we focus on. Whatever you focus on grows. So when you wake up, you have to, what am I focused on? The very first thing that I wake up that takes me away from myself that I have to do out there.
So I know it's like, what I want to say is, like, I've seen it as something really, really hard to do because that's what I've been told. But actually, it's quite easy and quite free, and it's about choice,
Yes.
rather than believing the stories that you've carried around with you and just avoiding the big holes and hoping that your bits don't fall out of them.
Exactly. It's a bit like Sunday lunch. I mean, I'm surprised that hasn't been named as genetic.
Yeah,
So it's a bit like that.
yeah.
It's what we call tradition, that
It's
we just
familiar.
follow somebody else's thing because it's tradition, but not all traditions are healthy. And you might have a tradition with yourself, and it's like, what would you like to carry instead? What would you like to think instead?
Mm.
How would you like your world to be instead? But then everybody, or majority of people, not everybody, sorry, will say, yeah, well, you have to come to the real world. It isn't the real world. It's a nasty made up one, but somebody else made up.
Yeah, and you
So
can make another one
you
then.
can make another one up, yeah, yourself, because if somebody had the power to do that, and we're all equal as human beings, then we all do. It's just that we don't exercise it because you're so busy in the other world, in the ego world, that you just don't make time for yourself. I haven't got time for me.
I think it's
I've got
time to
too much
throw
to
my
do.
bag away
Okay.
and make time for me and not the silly stories that I've told myself.
Yeah. Everything you'll find, nobody can have anything without a story. No one can have anything without a story. And we don't need stories. Every story that you tell yourself has an impact on your life. So,
I remember one of the first things you said to me was, telling yourself a story, tell yourself a good one.
yes.
Don't include an holy bag.
Shall we
My
end
bag.
there?
Yeah.
Okay.